Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, and worship unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Makakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim. Continuation of Revelations chapter 12 overview. This is verse 9 through 17. Jump right into it. It says, "And the great dragon was cast out." Now, the great dragon is speaking of the Roman Empire that's ruled by the Edomites. Okay, so it's speaking of the, if you may, the pagan Roman Empire, which was ruled by, you have to understand this, the Edomites, because the Edomites are that old serpent. It says the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, right, to the Edomites. It says, "And Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth," because the Edomites put themselves as God. They took part in the crucifixion of the Messiah. They beheaded and tortured the apostles of God, the apostles of the Messiah, and they put their Caesars as God. They made memorials to their Caesars as being deities, deified in temples and in shrines. So these guys are the devil. If people look back on Rome like it was something glorious, these guys persecuted the Church of God. They murdered the apostles of the Messiah. What's so good about Rome? They are the enemies of they literally were pagans, enemies of the cross. Womanizers. They talk about, oh, you guys don't like women. Well, first of all, women have their place. You guys want to talk about how the Romans put women up on farms in ancient Rome and whooped them and beat them on Valentine's Day because they couldn't have children? Well, but we're the womanizers, right? We'll strip the woman naked and beat them while the Roman man wore leather bikinis. Yeah, but we're the weirdos, right? And you guys celebrate Valentine's every day with them GMO flowers, you fucking idiots. Yeah, but we're the womanizers. No, women have their place. These guys they're pumping right now in America and throughout the earth, which is the revival of the Roman Empire. They're pumping women with all type of drugs. They're just deceiving women. You know, giving them birth control and putting them out, making them out, fucking work corporate jobs and all this other madness instead of being mothers at home. But we're the womanizers. You guys don't even give a fuck about nobody but your damn self, you damn demons. 6:30 in the morning. Lord just got to be cursing y'all out. Because you're the devil. It's like it says in the verse 9. Let me get through this. I'm gonna have to get going for work soon. It says, "He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." All right, which the angels is speaking of his magi's, his leadership, his oligarchs, if you may. All right, and when the scripture speaks about this, let me give context because we're starting from verse 9 and we already did verse 1 through 8 in the last video. You can go to the last video and watch it. But just to read for context, verse 8, it says, "And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven." Right. And this is talking about when when NATO in America, or EU in America, which is essentially what it's going to be, all right, they're going to try to fight against the becoming of the Messiah. Michael and his angels are speaking of the angels of God. And that great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil. That's talking about Esau, which Esau's power structure in the modern time is NATO and the EU. All right. In 2,000 years ago, it was the Roman Empire. Right. It says, and Satan was deceiveth the whole world. And how did they deceive the world? Through the miracles, through the charagma, which is the RFID micro C hip. All right. You know, through the vanity of, through the small hats. Oh, these guys are the people. No, they're not the people. It says he was cast out into the earth and his angels cast out with him. We're just talking about the leadership, his people in top power, the bankers, all that. And it's also talking about his technology that he's going to use to try to fight against the Messiah and the angels. All right. Verse 10, it says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Mashiach, of his, which Christ in Hebrew is Mashiach. Us from a Hebrew perspective, we don't use terms like Christ. All right. Because we know that comes from paganism. We use Mashiach. That's where you get the term Messiah from. Mashiach. All right. It says, for the accuser of our brethren. So don't listen to IUIC when they say we don't got the Hebrew. No, they just got 501c3s and they sold out in other ways. That's why they tell you that. It's a gag order. No, let's just keep it real. All right. It says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down. And who is the accuser of the brethren? Who's the brethren? We the brethren, the elect. That's why, excuse me. Who accuses us? Everybody. They're this, they're that. It's Great Millstone fault. Is everybody just accusing us? They did this. No, we didn't. Y'all did that. And y'all blaming it on us. We didn't even do that. But y'all did it though. And it starts with Esau. But these niggas, these fake Israelite niggas, supposed to be our brother, fake brethren. That's why scripture that's why Yahweh Shai said, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your, oh my God, let me get that. Because they accused Yahweh Shai. But guess what? They were acting on the behalf of Rome because they were agents of Rome. Speaking of the Sanhedrin, all right, 2,000 years ago, remember, we're going through the same suffering as our Messiah, all right? Those of his true followers. So you people who are loved by the world, man, the scripture says ye should be hated of all men but for my name's sake. Being loved by the world is not a good sign. That's a sign that you're not the elect. Oh, let me get through this. I wish I started a little bit earlier so I can talk a little bit more and get some more precepts, but we're going to get through it efficiently. John chapter 8, verse 44 says, ye are of your father, the devil. Who is he talking to? He's talking to the Jews in rulership in Judea at this time period, which were so-called black people, which were some evil niggas. All right. And you had Herod there, but Herod was an Edomite. But the other people who were in rulership in the Sanhedrin, the Pharisaic, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, those niggas, all right, they were evil they were the people that you see wearing purple today and wearing fringes with no phylacteries. They were the people who over here who getting, caught pegging and, the zealots and those guys and, all these other wearing all black, talking about the Israelites and wearing shades and shit. That's them. It says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye do. That's what part of their lust is coveting after money. The love of money is the root of all evil. And them coveting after money, to what? They compromise the doctrine of Yahushua. All right, they slandered his true man. It says he was a murderer from the beginning. Are they not murderers? Do they not want to murder us? Yes, they want to murder us because they don't have love in their heart. You are evil brothers. You follow the way of Cain, IUIC. You follow the way of Cain, ISBK. All right? Why? Because we tell you the truth. You know you're going off. He was a murderer from the beginning, just like Esau. Esau is just nothing but a murderer. It says, and abode not in the truth. Does America and NATO abide in the truth? No, they don't abide in the truth. He says, because there is no truth in him. When he speak of a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. Who's the father of lies? The devil. Who is that talking about? That's talking about the Roman, in this context, he's talking about the Roman Empire. But right now, it's talking about the revival of the Roman Empire, which is NATO and EU. And these same people are back in their spirit. They're back. He's like, oh, those bad guys are villains of the book of the New Testament. Yeah, those guys are back. They're back, baby. And then guess what? The prophets are also back. The apostles are also back. Everybody back into their own lot. So that term devil, that's not talking about no damn spiritual deity somewhere in the ground. It's talking about Esau Edom, which is the progenitor of the self-proclaimed white race. And no, it's not about skin color. Before you start doing that, it has nothing to do with skin color. It's an indicator. That's the mark of Cain. Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. And the hairy garment's talking about him being red. That's why this guy looks red. His name Esau, which means Ishashua, meaning wasted away is he. That's how he looks. That's who he is. He's that nation. That's a part of prophecy. Don't get mad at us. All right. Anyway, let's keep reading because I got to get through this. Yeah, I got to get through this. All right. So it says, verse 10. Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which is the Edomites, which accused them before our God day and night, which are the Edomites. They try to persecute. They're about to try to kill us, just like they killed the apostles. Thing is, a standard gonna be lifted. Verse 11, it says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So only way you're gonna overcome the enemy, all right, this devil, is by Yahweh blood, which his excuse me, which his blood is a covering of purification, of a covering of understanding, a covering of faith. All right, because Yahweh is that lamb, the Messiah is that lamb. It says, and by the word of their testimony. All right. It says, and they love not their lives unto the death. So some of us are going to be killed. Verse 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right, these warlocks and chemists and scientists and bankers, these top ones, they of the nation of Edom, they know their time is short. And so they're going to try to come down and essentially murder us and exterminate the men of the Lord. And they're about to try to come down on you other people, too. You other people are not off the hook. This damn devil is crazy. He is absolutely insane. He wants to put you in a fucking 15-minute city box eating fucking not even real food with a micro C-hip in your hand or in your brain where he can control your thoughts. He is a monster. This man is a monster, and most of you people are just going to die. You ain't going to have no family. Yo, if you ain't going to be able to marry, you're not going to be able to have children, a lot of them. You have children when he tell you to have children. That's the world that we're coming into, but we're the bad guys, right? And The great millstone. Oh, you guys are so, yeah, and you're gonna die anyway. It says, it says, see, yep, he have but a short time. That's why he about to try to push his agenda. All right, verse 13. Pardon me. Now keep in mind this chapter is a chapter. It skips back and forth in timeline. Revelation does that a lot. One minute is talking about World War II. One minute is talking about end of the world. One minute is talking about this time. It just jumps back and forth. All right. Verse 13. I believe it's about to do that here. Let's see here. Yep, this is about to do it here. Now we're jumping back 2,000 years. It says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast, well, let me, before I presumptuously speak, let me just read it and then break it down and tell you what it's talking about. Verse 13, it says, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. Right. And the dragon in this context is speaking of Herod, all right, which Herod was an Edomite, but he was set up by the Roman Empire. He saw when the wise man came to him and told him that the Messiah had been born, he knew that his rulership and his authority was done. Because he sat in the seat that the Messiah was supposed to sit in, because the Messiah was the true king of the nation of Israel, and not just of the tribe of Judah, but of all the tribes. So he knew that the Messiah would take him out of power. So he wanted to kill Yahushua as a baby. But we're the bad guys, right? But this is a Roman. This guy was a Roman. Herod was a Roman. He was the Roman guy of Judea. He was set up by the Herodian dynasty was set up by what's this guy named Magnus, Pompeius Magnus, if I'm not mistaken. All right, which he was a part of the triumvirate. All right, which you had Crassus, you had Julius Caesar, and you had Pompeius Magnus. All right, these guys are devils. They are part of the 12 feathers being spoken of in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 11th and 12th chapter. The scripture tells you in Esdras that they were evil-ass people. That's talking about those Roman emperors. All right? The 12 feathers. All right? So you got to understand what's going on. You can't just read this thinking you know what you're talking about and you ain't came up the right way. You got to follow the apostles of Great Millstone. You guys don't know what you're talking about. It says, you have to follow. The Lord sets up prophets. You random ass people don't know what the fuck you talking about. Anyway, which it says the woman is speaking of the nation of Israel, like we broke down in the previous video, and the man-child is speaking of the Messiah. All right, verse 14, it says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle. Let me get through this. It says that she might fly into the wilderness. All right, and that's going into Africa. That's going into 70 AD. All right, because a part of the destruction of Judea, all right, they was not only the Zealots were instrumental in bringing forth the actual destruction, but the Romans wanted to destroy the temple in Judea because of the teaching of the Messiah in Rome as well. Because they were listening. You don't think the Romans had like they ancient CIA and they ancient FBI listening to the apostles, probably confiscating certain letters. That's why John. This was written when John was a prisoner. He was in the concentration camp. He was in a labor. This was written in a labor camp. Again, Jake don't know what they're involved in. This was written. This was an old man that was put on a labor. They tried to execute him, couldn't do that. It didn't work, And he was put on a salt mine to work the rest of his life by the Romans. These people are the devil. These people are back through NATO and the EU. These are the Edomites. These are the sons of Esau. All right. Now, flying to the wilderness, that's going into 70 AD. Remember, the Romans destroyed the temple in 70 AD. And they wanted, the main reason, to be honest, why they wanted to destroy it because of the ministry, because the ministry was causing more of an uproar in Rome than anything. But you had they couldn't just destroy the temple because of the ministry, because the ministry was nonviolent. It was basically just telling the truth to Israelites, waking Israelites up. But it was causing up stirs. And it was talking about another king other than Caesar. So this was a great pretext you had, like got today. These stupid ass Israelites walk around with guns, call themselves Dagger Man and doing all this other agent work. Because some of them, those zealots in the ancient world, a lot of them were agents too. All right, the Pharisees, they were agents. Sadducees, they were agents of Rome. That's why the scriptures, that's why they said we got to kill the Messiah so the Romans won't take away our seat, their power and influence, their 501c3. All right. And so they use these things of, the Dagger Men doing what they're doing. They're not paying taxes. They was like, okay, bet, we about to destroy Judea. We about to seize Judea, and maybe this is going to take away, the ministry. But they didn't take away the ministry because the ministry's back. It's a spiritual thing. All right. It says, see here. Yep. It says, might fly into the wilderness, which is going into the west coast of Africa, because the west coast of Africa was not inhabited by no people. We were the first people, the Israelites, 2,000 years ago to go to the west coast of Africa. Before that, it was a no man's land. All right. It was just forest. Actual Hamites and Africans, they lived in North Africa, more so Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Central Africa. They didn't live in the west coast of Africa. All right. It says, until her place where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time. That place is talking about America. So now we went from west coast of Africa to America. That's the place. And the time and half of times is going to what we read earlier of the 1,203 score days, which is 3.5, 3.4, 6, you round up 3.5, which represents 350 year period, 1619, 1969. When this truth came out through Elder Abba Bivens, who is John the Revelator. Pardon me, not John the Revelator, who is John the Baptist. He is Elijah. All right. Oh, he's not. Okay, I know. Yeah, sure, whatever. It's not for you. Please leave. Please click off the video. Yeah, that is Elijah the prophet. Goodness sake, how many times we got to tell you people it's only for the elect? If you don't, just please click off the video, man. Gosh, we don't even want you around. It's only about the elect. It says, all right, the time and half a time, that's talking about 350 year period. Time 100 times 200, half time 50, 350 total. Face of the serpent. It says, verse 15, it says, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. That's him trying to persecute us now. He about to try to send his armies, his propaganda to kill us. He says that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. His philosophies, his charagma, all that's a part of the sword of Esau was blessed with. All right. Verse 16, let me get through it. It says, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth. That's the Lord setting a standard for his elect, protecting us from the armies of Esau in these last days. He's not going to allow us just to be steamrolled. Now, some of us are going to die, but that's casualties of war. Let's see. But they're going to be resurrected. All right. It says that, and swallow up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth, which the dragon is speaking of the Edomites. All right. Verse 17. Oh, I thought it was some little dragon on fairy tale. I thought we were talking about, no, this is talking about the Edomites. Verse 17, it says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, which is the nation of Israel. All right. Jeremiah 6:2, Genesis 3:15, to prove that the woman is the nation of Israel. And Eve in that context was esoterically representing the nation of Israel. All right. When I've quoted Genesis, that's a little bit more meaty, but Jeremiah 6:2 is a good precept for you. It says, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Remember in Genesis, it speaks about Eve having a seed. A woman doesn't have a seed. Let me just get that, because that's actually a really good precept for that. A woman doesn't have a seed. What's that talking about? It's talking about the nation of Israel. It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman. The serpent, remember that old serpent, the devil, right? That's talking about the Edomites. It says, and between thy seed, who's the seed of the serpent? The Edomites today. It says, and her seed. Wait a minute, a woman don't have a seed. Women have eggs. Yes, it's talking about the nation of Israel. It's talking about the seed of Israel. Jacob and Esau. It says, and it shall bruise thy head, which is bruising the Messiah. It says, and thou shalt bruise his heel, right? Which ultimately we're gonna get the upper hand. You know. Oh shoot! Give me 1 second. Oh shit! Give me 1 second. Let me read that again. Damn it. It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and thy seed and her seed, it shall bruise thy head. Now, that's actually, I broke that down a little bit incorrectly. I was going too fast. It says, the bruising of the head is talking about we're going to completely destroy Esau's rulership, because a bruising of the head, a head blow is going to kill you. All right. But it says, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Right. A heel blow is going to hurt you, but it's not going to kill you. All right. It says, all right. So let me go. That's what I was talking about. That's why there was a distraction that came to me. Give me 1 second. Let me go back. Let's finish this up. It says, and the earth helped the, verse 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, which are the elect, and have the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. So ultimately, they're going to make war with us. So all you people, it don't matter. You guys get it. You know, the elect, they get it. So giving all praises to Yahushua Mashiach. Shalom.